Hey, everybody.
People are coming in. Uh, hey, everyone. I'm Chris. This is Mills, the one and only. And we don't know exactly what we're going to talk about today. We have some potential topics, but one of them is that Mills told me that he has a quote unquote spicy question for me, which I don't know what it is. And I'm interested to find out what that is.
All right, it's a zero prep question, so it's not really spicy. I'm especially worried about disappointing Substack users because I feel like that might suggest I have something spicy about Substack. But this is actually more about a general topic of interest for the two of us, which is I was talking to Jay on Monday, and we were talking about the state of LLMs, of course, as one does in our field. And he had an experience with O1 Pro conversation mode over the weekend where he told me he learned a lot of physics while keeping the phone in his pocket and walking on a beach, I assume, out there in California. And I've had a take for a long time that I actually have a post about it. I can prove that I've had this take that graphical user interfaces, which we all think of as being such a great improvement on command line interfaces, are actually really quite bad, and that in most cases you would prefer a conversational interface. And what's held that back, the reason something like Alexa didn't take over from the Mac, is that without basically AGI tier conversational capabilities, they suck. Siri was horrible. Nobody liked Siri. So I wrote this post at the time when Siri came out, and I was like, hey, if they ever get to where they're really good conversationally, as good as a person, I think a lot of things that are currently GUI based are going to be voice interaction based. And we're there. It didn't take AGI, it just took extremely good LLMs. And so he basically, Jay's question was, hey man, what are you going to do with your life now? How are you going to feed them kids? And so, like a lot of people, I spent a bunch of time thinking, okay, my job, and we've actually talked about this before, you and I. There's a bunch of reasons that my job and my field could be automated successfully by LLMs. I don't think we're there yet, but it could happen at any time, or it might not happen for reasons that would be interesting to discuss. Anyway, point
Mills
is,
runs design at Substack for anybody who doesn't know the context behind this.
yeah, I do software design. It's my fault if anything isn't good, and it's the caliber of my designers if anything is good. So one thing I was thinking is like everybody's got to have this question, right? Like I talk to friends who are in really diverse fields and they're like, oh man, what am I going to do if LLMs kind of get rid of everything? And the model I always have for you, Chris, is I'm always like, man, there's a world where instead of having to herd all these fucking cats, Chris can just say, here's what I want, and it does it. But then I thought, and here's the spicy question, is there a world where Andreessen just gets to say, I've got X amount of capital to deploy. I'd like you to build a successful business for me in consumer, and the LLM does that. In other words, if software engineering and design could be abstracted by LLMs, could founders be abstracted by LLMs? Couldn't you just request a given zone and ask it to come up with the whole thing, the business plan, the proposal, the investment plan, all of the software, all of everything else? And if so, what's your backup plan?
Yeah. Well, and why stop there? I mean, what do you need Andreessen for or VCs for in general if these things cost almost nothing to make?
Well, because they've got the
And
capital.
but do you like how much capital do you need in a world
Oh,
of
that's fucking
abundant
true. You don't even need the
AGI?
capital. God. Jesus, poor A16Z isn't going to have anything to do. They'll be in the breadlines with us.
Well, to me, this is the maybe a specific case of the general question of what happens if you get really powerful AI that can do lots of useful things. Um, and I don't, I think my take on this is probably kind of boring, which is a little bit like I don't think we really know. And people who have really confident predictions about what's going to happen, I'm kind of like generically bearish on all of them. I'm a little bit. I think that maybe the correct stance is a little bit of uh, sitting with the ambiguity. Like I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm not a doomer about it. Like I don't think that it's necessarily the case, or even likely to be the case that when you have machines that can do a lot of useful things for you, therefore, you there's nothing for humans to do, and it gives way to existential angst and uh, you know, whatever. I think